late teens, you left India and you went to Cornell. You did a degree in architecture and structural engineering. But it wasn't something that your father really wanted you to do, was it?
My father wanted me to go to England. He wanted me to be a chartered accountant as he had been. And I was the rebel who wanted to go to the United States, and I wanted to study architecture and engineering. So he didn't like it.
Did you have a problem with him over this?
No.
He accepted your decision?
Well, I did it anyway.
What was Cornell like? I mean, you were a rich Indian, and suddenly you were in a big American university where the name Tata probably meant nothing.
No, I was just one of 20,000 students. Believe me, in those days when an Indian went abroad, the RBI gave you a very meager allowance. So I was not a rich Indian. I was a struggling student at that time, wondering whether I'd make it to the end of the month before my next check came. And quite frankly, the thing about Cornell was it was so big and you were so anonymous, and you knew no one, and you were in a new culture. That was scary for the first few months.
I get you took to Cornell because afterwards you stayed on in America, and I gather you, in fact, initially weren't too keen on coming back to India.
I loved America and still do. I feel very much at home there, and I had a good job, exciting job in a city I loved, Los Angeles, and yes, I had no intention of coming back.
What was it that drew you to America? The people, the culture, or just in a sense the freedom to be yourself?
It's strange you should ask me that. I don't know what drew me to America, but ever since I was a kid, long before I ever went there the first time, I had a desire to go there.
It's like a dream fulfilled.
Yeah, destiny, whatever.
So what brought you back?
My grandmother brought me back. She was old, she was ailing, and she wanted to see me again. And she appealed to me. In those days, even telephone calls were hard. You know, you had to book a call, and they weren't an everyday thing. And she appealed to me, and it touched me, and so I went back.
In the end, the bond with your grandmother was stronger than the attraction to America.
Well, I came back not necessarily thinking I would live the rest of my life here. I just came back because she wanted me back.
Within 15 days of your return, you found yourself bundled off to Jamshedpur, beginning a new career in the Tata. And it wasn't a great job that they sent you to do, was it?
No, it was an endless training program. In hindsight, a very useful one, but at that time seemed like a terrible waste of time.
They literally made you begin on the shop floor.
Yes, which was worthwhile.
And you lived in a hostel with all the other apprentices.
Yes.
They wouldn't even let you take your car, but they permitted a bicycle.
They permitted a bicycle, or I was rather offended that I was told that you can't take your car, but you can take a bicycle. Coming from Los Angeles, I didn't see how anybody had the right to tell you what to do. So I didn't get a bicycle, and I walked.
So the rebel was there again?
Yeah.
Were there times when you said to yourself, what on earth am I doing here? Why am I not back in America?
Yeah, a couple of times. And I did almost go back.
You seriously thought that you were going to throw it in and go back?
Oh, yeah.
What kept you on?
It's hard to say. A couple of times I came very close to going back, and then didn't. I can't explain that. It was just, I think, something that happened here. One of the things that happened that kept me back was being asked to take over Nelco, and it seemed like a challenge.
That was 1971.
That's right. That was another moment when I was thinking of going back.
You say it was like a challenge. It was a loss-making company at the time, and presumably no one else in the Tata Group wanted to take it over. Was it the challenge that attracted you, or was it suddenly the feeling that you had a role to perform and that you were made to belong?
No, it was a challenge. It was an industry that was exciting. The electronics industry in those days was, even making radios and TV sets was challenging and exciting. And it was a company filled with young people, and above all, it was an opportunity to be, to dig your teeth into something.
And you were looking for that?
And I really was. I was wasting away earlier.